Welcome to the Fishbowl with everybody. Welcome to our What If series here as we continue, tackling all the what if hypothesis speculations in the world of Raging Cajun sports and LSU sports athletics across both these two programs. So today's what if is what if Nick Saban never left LSU for the NFL and he decided to stay as a college football head coach there? Let me bring in Jalen here. Jalen, what you think would have happened with Nick Saban if he would have stayed at LSU?
I think he would have added more championships to his already great career. I know he left LSU and then went to the NFL with the Miami Dolphins and came back to college sports and took over at Alabama and ended up winning more national championships. I think Nick Saban would have won more national championships. I know what is it in 2004 you had to deal with what USC with Pete Carroll in 2005. You had the Vince Young era with Texas. I mean, who can't forget about that? But it's like when you think about it, if Nick Saban would have stayed at LSU, especially after they won the national championship, and I know they didn't win it that next year, but he still could have built up the recruits. I mean, you look at it now, the national championship LSU won in was it 2019? They had talent on offense, talent all over defensively. But when you think about it, it's like, okay, what if there was no Ed Ogeron? What if there wasn't any Les Miles? What if it was all just Nick Saban? And I think not only Nick Saban was a great coach, I think also he was a great recruiter. So I think he would have got top of the top five stars coming, just like Nick Saban had him come to Alabama. It would be the same way if he would have stayed at LSU. I just think he would have had continued success instead of winning a national championship, taking a pause with shifting to the NFL, then making his way back to college football, and then winning those titles with Alabama. I think he consecutively could have been winning titles. LSU for years now, since 2003, would have been known as the college that everybody, in the world want to go to, just because of Nick Saban, because of the success. I mean, I just think it would have been great if he would have stayed, but hey, Les Miles got him a ring. So does Ed Orgeron. So it's like I guess it all worked out. I guess we're waiting for Brian Kelly to get his next.
Yeah, so you brought the point of every coach from Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron all have national championship rings. They've all got to the top of the mountain and able to claim national championships. So if you're looking at it from what would have happened, right? So we had Katrina in 2005, as very well documented by, everybody. The Saints maybe was gonna maybe move to San Antonio because they didn't know how New Orleans was gonna be. They're coming back in 2006, the Drew Brees situation, would he have ended up with the Dolphins? So that's the thing. If Nick Saban stays, do we lose the Saints? I think that is a very good, maybe point that might actually happen there because there was serious talk that the Saints was going to leave New Orleans and go to San Antonio, but we would have got replaced with a national championship dynasty in Baton Rouge. So that's one thing that could have possibly happened here. So I think what would have happened in the following, following decade and year. So it took Nick Saban 3 years to make a national championship at at Alabama because he went the NFL in the 2005 season, stayed there till 2006. I think they basically didn't like it, basically was let go. And then he went back to Alabama in 2007. They didn't have that great of a year in their first year. They lost to UOM, which was very well documented. They had a billboard basically when Alabama leaving town in Monroe, which is interesting to talk about there. But 2008, they had their breakthrough year. Well, we have seen the same thing at LSU. So come back in 2005. I think we've seen Nick Saban go through tornadoes in Alabama to decimate, but hurricanes are a little bit different. You had a whole city get really flooded, a major metropolitan city, uh, get, inundated with all that water and, basically filling up, lost a lot of human life and stuff there, and that tragedy that happened. But would he have been able to keep LSU on course and be able to? I think they would have had the same amount of success here. I don't think they would have won a national title in 2005. I think in 2006, though, with Jamarcus Russell, Joseph Adai, Jacob Hester, early Doucette, Dwayne Bowe, a lot of those guys, you had Glenn Dorsey on the other side, LaRon Landry, a free safety. All them guys out there would have played. We probably would have had a better defense. Even as good as defense was, we probably would have been even better because them guys came under Nick Saban as well. They were all recruited during that time period. So I think 2006, they probably won a national title instead of losing that game to Auburn on the road. You would have had 2007 come. A lot of injuries to LSU that year. And even though they still lost two titles, they still made a championship game, which is something there. But they probably would have not lost to Arkansas in overtime, probably, because Nick Saban probably pulled some out of his hat and managed to win it there. I think they would have lost maybe one time that year. So probably back to back national titles in 2006, 2007. They had a little bit of fall off in 2008. So they lost a lot of guys in 2007. So 2008 probably would have had the same thing kind of happen, but maybe a little bit better 9-10 win season. Um, so then you got 2009. I think LSU had another great year. They probably would have got 11 wins. They probably would have been a real threat to make the national title game again. But let's say they don't do it that year. I think 2010 would have been a better year for them to do it. In 2011, obviously, I think they would have won back to back that year, 2010 and 2011. So, and 2012, like all the talent they had during the Les Miles era was then Les Miles kind of started somewhat lost it after 2013. It seems like a lot of talent wasn't as good as it was years before that. So, and you could basically all the five stars that went to Alabama would have went to LSU if you look at it that way. So, um, I think Nick Saban would have won probably more at LSU, honestly, because he per capita, if you're looking at this from like what produces the most NFL players and who has the most talent across all the board, is Louisiana. Per capita, there's more NFL players in this state than there is anywhere else in the entire country. I know California, Texas, and Florida are really hotbeds for recruiting, but all those guys that went to Alabama, you probably would even have more talent at LSU because you just had Alabama's not known for that kind of thing. You have to go pull from Texas, Florida, Louisiana. So you would have had all those coming to Baton Rouge, and I think, man, you would have had probably I think 7 to 9 titles for sure, but during that time frame, which LSU probably had 10, 11 national championships during his whole run total. So yeah, I think there he would have more success if he had stayed at LSU because I think all those years he wasted in the NFL would have been that's probably he wanted to prove himself. I get why, but I think that's what happened. I think a double-digit national titles would have been the case for LSU if Nick Saban had stayed at LSU. But there's over a million, possibilities that could have happened. But it's always fun to wonder what if.